Heyo everyone, Hexi here. Today, I wanted to go over some of my design philosophies in Blender, because I know that not everyone gets my vision for what I want out of a Hexi, or a 3D Hexi. It's complicated stuff. Pull this up. Hey, welcome to the stream. Always nice to have you. So first off, I'm gonna start by adding a circle. You'll be like, well, Hexi, what's the point of adding a circle? Shouldn't you start from a cube? Yeah, most people would. But because I want to do a low poly design, a lot of my shit is gonna start out as hexagon. Now, unfortunately, I would like the flat sides of the hexagon to be pointing forward. So we're gonna have to turn this sucker. Now, how on earth you rotate a hexagon so that it's on its flat sides? Well, every shape has 360 degrees. Now, if we divide that by the 6 sides of the hexagon, we wind up with 60 degrees. We only want to do half a turn here. So if we want to do half a turn, we got to divide it by 2 to figure out that we need to turn this hexagon 30 degrees. So let's take it over into edit mode, rotate this sucker on the z-axis, 30. There we go. Next thing I'm going to want to do is create a face for this so that we can work off of it. And then I want to create a line through here for reasons that'll become obvious later. Line. Take these two in front. This is going to be the centerpiece for my feet. So I'm going to want to elongate this further forward. Inch in the toe a little so that it's not quite as wide as the heel. And I can take the whole thing, extrude it up, scale it in a little. And this is the beginning of a very Mega Man-esque foot. Just make sure that my faces are pointing the right way. And they are. So now, I'm going to need to inset the entire top part. Go. That just creates a nice little ridge around the edges there. So now if I take this back part and extrude it up to about somewhere around here, now I'm going to want to change how it scales things. Because right now it creates a median point. So what I'm going to want to do is switch it to active element. And I'm going to select this back edge. Now if I scale it down, it'll all scale towards that side. And we want to just sort of match the angle on the back of the feet here. Right about like that. Now we're gonna need to inset these faces again. Just a little bit though, not too much. This gives us the perfect little edge to create the front of our these. We can then go ahead and delete these faces, because the next thing I'm going to do is select the verts on this one, one. Select the edges to create a box. Boom. Perfect hexy feetsies every time. The only thing I might do is maybe drag the front of this back a little bit, but other than that, it looks pretty good. So next up is going to come the part where I need to make the leg. And the legs are a little tricky. Go ahead and rename my circle though to foot. Originally, I wanted to put little boosters on the bottom. I was gonna sculpt those out, but I think I'll just do those with texture from now on. I just need to make a real nice little pixelated speaker on the bottom of the foot. And at one point, I wanted to do high heels on Hexi, but those are a little complicated. So let's start by adding a cube for the leg. This sucker up. Gotta decide how big it needs to be in relation to the foot. Gotta remember that there's going to be a shin going up the middle. That's gonna protrude out a bit. And then there's going to be the wheel wells on the side because I gave her Optimus Prime style wheels. So let me start by making the shins actually. I feel like that would be a better place to start, because those are going to be a whole bunch of shapes that need to be specially like moved around. Brush it in a little bit more. You know, it should basically be about the size of the top of the foot. And go and just duplicate this little guy. And we can back into edit mode. Scale it down along the Z. Rotate it along the X. I sure hope it's still square on top. Nope, not in the slightest. Okay, let's bring this up and get it square. Because the only thing to do in order to make it square is scale it on. Get a good look from the Z angle. That looks about square, right? All I want to do with this is just get it rotated about 45 degrees, maybe 50. 50 works. Forward. To move back face, go to its normals, grab it and move it along its normal Z back into the original object. That gives us a nice pointy knee. Maybe the whole thing needs to come back a bit more. It is sticking out a bit far. There we go. That's a good point for the knee speaker to be jutting out. Just kind of going over basic design stuff for what I think would make up a good Hexi. Because, a bit of a perfectionist here. I like everything to be just so. Take this whole thing and rotate it forward a bit. That way the ankle armor comes down. And we're just gonna go back to globals here. Y, move it forward, down a bit. And we're just gonna wanna pinch the front of it in a little. Scale it on the X. And I don't bring this back face forward. It's normal. Line it up. Doesn't have to be perfect or anything. Heyo, welcome to the stream. Just gonna put these objects together. Yep, it's you. No matter how long you look, it's still you. I'm contemplating moving these verts forward so that they join up with the end there. I feel like it's a little unnecessary at the moment. Maybe we'll clean it up later. But for now, we're gonna need to add in another cube. Way we can scale this down. Just move it up. This one we're gonna want to be a bit thicker. We can turn on vertex mapping to make it move up to the correct height. In case you can't tell, I'm not exactly an expert at this. Now, we kept one of those cubes around for a very specific reason. Go ahead and go into edit mode here. Basically want to select the back face on this. Try to move this until it comes right to the edges of the object. And we can scale them out along their regular x's, global x. Gotta reinstitute that median point well. That. And I think you guys can already smell what I'm laying down. Cracked cube one. Get a nice flow going here. To give us the angle that matches the top across the leg. Go ahead and just scale these in along the X a little more. Don't want these to be too chonky. Certain amount. There we go. We've got our front and our back. Select the back edges. Subdivide them. So I'm going to want to do that one more time. There we go. That gives us the perfect shape to add in our thruster. Drag this back and boom. Entirety of the back here might need to go up a little. Don't want to make these too thin or anything, but no. I'm being over chonk. Now if I go back into object, add this back half on with a boolean. Delete the other three cubes. Now one last thing I'm gonna do here. Well, first I'm gonna break some geometry, but that doesn't matter so much. We can clean that up later. First thing I'm gonna do though is check birds, wireframe mode so that we can select just the bottom and bring it down a little. That looks better. Now, if you've got a bunch of stray edges laying around in your object, just select the ones that you want to get rid of. Then you can use something called dissolve edges. Boom. Nice smooth geometry. These little edges here, I don't think. That might have deleted a face though. We'll see. Nope, the face is still there, which means we're in the clear. Be cleaning up and polishing your edges and verts. It takes a little bit of knowledge, but it's not too big a deal. Next up comes a bit of an annoying bit, and that's figuring out the wheel wells. Making that shape is kind of a little bit troublesome. I think the best way to start, though, would probably be with another hexagon or maybe a cube. If we start from a cube, we can bevel the edges. Or if we go with a hexagon, we can maybe inset the edges to make it the correct shape. But I think Blender might get confused. So let me think this over real quick. Because if we go with this method, we're going to need to fill it in for one thing. The flat side that way. Rotate 90 degrees. Slide this up, there, down to there. Scale the whole thing down. Shallower angle in. Hello, Zanbrew. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see ya. We're just fucking around in Blender and trying to figure out how to make a 3D Hexi. I'll be honest, I'm not the best at this. But you do what you can. This out. Two. Ooh. The alert popped up. Nice. Thank you very much, Kadarian. Very grateful for your donation. Go ahead, pull this in. Here's going to be a bit of a problem because it's going to create this bottom strip. That's okay. We're going to fix it in a minute. So, since we've extruded it out, now to get it back in, we're going to have to anti-extrude it. Which sounds a lot fancier than it is. Now, if I go ahead and get this face, this one, just get rid of those. Grab these edges. Six rainbow donuts? Why would I give up 6 rainbow donuts? Those are my 6 rainbow donuts. Yeah, I think that's big enough for the wheel wells. The wheels aren't supposed to be like actually functional or anything. Now for the wheels, should we go with hexagonal wheels or octagonal wheels? Got hexagonal, Then we've got octagonal. No, your spelling's fine, Zanbrew. Don't apologize. So now if we need to turn the to make it on its flat sides, we just gotta go calculator. To turn it, need to calculate the 360 degrees that all shapes have, divide it by its 8 sides, we get 45, divide that by 2, and we get 22.5. So if we want our octagon to be on its flat sides, to rotate it on the z-axis by 22.5, simple as. Now, whether that was a good decision or not will still be yet to be seen. Rotate it up 90. Scale this sucker down. Up. Over here. I think I'm zoomed in too far. Yep. The camera over here for better camera. So anyway, I have to make this smaller so we can fit 2. Aw. Well, good luck with your Minecraft, versus. I don't know the first thing about death matching in Minecraft. I think this is going to need to be a bit smaller in order to actually fit in here. Just move it up a little bit more. Go. Duplicate it down. And it's still too big. Oh, we'll just select both of them. Scale them both down. And we'll use face select to move them up and down accordingly. I think that's good. It's okay if they're a little close right now, because things are about to get interesting. Let me go ahead and grab this part of the wheel well, though. Move it closer so that it, gives it a more compact look, I guess. Not entirely sure what I'm talking about, but who said I need to be an expert, right? So now we have these two rather low polygon wheels. But a fun thing that we can do is select just these edges. Now if we do bevel, there we go. We can give them a slight edge to them to make them look more like wheels. Well, I'm glad it's helping. As long as it helps, that's all that matters. Let me see if I can't clean up these edges here by dissolving edges. Yep, there we go. Nice, clean, even faces. You know, it's important to optimize your geometry for game engines. Now, if we select all of these objects, select them like so, we can go into edit mode and shift it off to the side without moving the origin point. And this is going to become very important in a moment. Is what I'm going to do. Well, first off, I'm going to merge all these together, I think. Or for now, I could just join them. It would be a little sloppy. Or there we go. Works, that works. Made a little leg group there. If I put a mirror on them, there we go. Now we have two legs to work with. The next tough part's going to be the knee joint. Is going to be part of the upper leg. Hmm. Well, that's good. Glad you got your little chicken nugget. So let's go ahead and add in another hexagon. Which one of these is hexagon? There it is. Get it out of that collection, please. Just go in here. Rotate Y degrees. Up here. Scale that down till it's about knee size. The memes? Who's making memes? About what? Let me just bevel this edge as well. And we can make some nice knee edges. I don't know about this angle that they're going on though. I suppose I could always just select these rows of edges and scale them. There we go. That gives it more of a harsh angle. And then I would normally inset this for the hue shifting part. But once again, I think I'm going to do that with textures this time. Because one of the important things for creating a model in a low poly art style like this is keeping it simple, which is something that I have a real hard time doing. Select everything and apply scale. Gotta do it one at a time. Apply all. Heyo! Welcome to the stream, Zenas. Or X3 Nas. Go ahead and this across as well. I'll just rename it to Now here's usually where I start having trouble is when we get up to the body parts. Making thighs is a lot more complicated than it sounds like. I think I'm gonna go with octagons for this part since it's supposed to be a more human shape. The design is very human, very easy to use. So let's go ahead. Dogon. It reminds you a bit of Transformers, obviously. It has the Optimus Prime wheels. Scale this down a little. Thing to rotate it. I think we want the flat edge forward, but I'm not entirely sure. Let me drag it on up here and check. You know what? Putting the points out might actually make this look better. Minus 22.5. There we go. Sure that this is nice and metrically even along. Extrude it down a little. And I'm going to inset just a bit. Make that little line where the leg cuts off and the metal part begins, and I'll model them separately. Root it down, scale it in, down, scale it in. Take the whole thing and move it up a bit. Set it in there real good. Nice, sturdy, solid thighs. Yeah, at some point I'm going to add the pistons to the back here, but that's going to come later. Or maybe I'll just commission someone else to do it. But for now, what we need to do is the top of this. Hit P to separate by selection. Now I can take the top bit, extrude it up to scale it out where the skin is so that it like flares out. Because we need that absolute territory indentation. Scale this out a little bit more. Go up a little bit more before we start tapering back in. Now, if I was better at this, I would probably angle these a bit more so that they like taper on the inside, but I am not that good at Blender. Or am I? Just had an idea, boys. What if we rotate this on active element down a little bit, full row and a little bit, this one along this whole row along the Y. Go. There we go. And now we're getting more of a thigh type shape. A little confusing, but with a bit of pre-planning and figuring out, is definitely doable. Scoot up ever so slightly. There we go. I think that's all the more polygons I would put onto that. Anything else can just be stretched. Okay. You get some sleep. Have a good day tomorrow. I hope you get plenty of time at the reptile house. So yeah, as you can see, the thighs have entirely too much geometry for my liking, but this is how things go. Just figure them out and experiment a bit. Now, will dissolving this drastically change the shape of the object? Nope, that looks good. Maybe bring this down a little. There we go. That's the sort of jet force Gemini shapes I like to see in my objects. Go ahead and go into object mode, and I'm just going to grab everything above the feet. Go ahead and drag those down a bit so that they actually connect. Because at this point, I think our legs are pretty well set. The only other thing I'd change is maybe bringing the feet in a little. Just to offset the thigh gap. Then we can grab everything. Go into edit mode. Bring them together a little bit more. Now the next bit would be the hips, which is the part that I dread the most. I suck at making hips. So what do you guys think is a good method for making hips for Hexi? I would love to hear your input. One moment, let me grab a drink. You guys come up with ideas, my little bass babies. Okay, no ideas? That's fine. Here's my idea. We know that the legs have 8 vertices on them, so we're probably going to want to use uh, octagons for where the legs and the hips meet. That should give us some idea of how many uh, verts we can use for the middle part. It's important to set up a middle, and then we're going to need some bun. So, thinking we set up a like staging area for the legs to connect to, and then we'll set up a middle point, and then we'll set up little representations of the backside, and then we'll finagle things from there. But while we're still deciding things to do there, I'm going to go ahead and make some materials just to start planning things out with these legs. I'm gonna material new oh, one to be gonna want one to be black. Go into edit mode now. Gonna use face selection to select the faces that we want to have in different colors. Go ahead and silver to that and black to the rest of it. this one, you're gonna need white. You can make any shape you want in Blender. That's why it's so complicated. They give you every option in the world and then tell you to pick one. Some nice dark purple to represent Hexi black light skin. So let me go into mode now. Another octagon. Going to take it in it up here. Just gonna try and angle. Scale it down to about the same size. There we go. Now that we know where the leg is gonna connect at, figure out more of the anatomy here. Oh, and this is all getting added into leg. Feel a little dum-dum at the leg. This should be upper leg. No? Let me go ahead and fix that. Got an upper leg, a lower leg. Circle would be going into hips. Just go ahead and save this for a sec. I'll throw up the PRB screen while I save this. There we go. Got it saved. Now we can get back to work to add another octagon. And then this one we're going to rotate 90 degrees to make the center. I can grab this. There we go. Line those up a little. And probably going to want to have to squash that top bit. Just do this. Do active element, scale down along the Z. There we go. Now we can connect these up, but we're also going to need some buns. Should those be octagons too, or hexagons? Remember that for every vertex that we add, we're going to have increased geometry. I think we might be able to get away with a hexagonal booty cheek, but I'll let you guys decide. More detailed or nah. Drag down. This is way too perky, right? Gotta like flip it. What the? I want it. There we go. Well, boys, what do you think? Is this sufficient? Or is this too, I don't know, not correct? Let me check the reference image. Should definitely be rounder. Probably lower. So let me just get rid of the outer extremities and start over. Sorry, fingers not doing what I want them to. Bring this down a bit more. Scale it in. Just fill that in for now. Probably just gonna make it all come into one point, but having a nice flat edge on it works for editing. Just need points and sort of make them match up with those points. Up until it's down. Scale them. Just be drug over. And with the one on the go, now I'm a bit of a problemo. I think I know how to fix it. Grab this hexagon though. Get rid of the thighs for a minute. do that active element thing along the Y, bring them down to be flat. This is going to want to be joined up with the bottom of this. Everything else is going to be kind of a mess. I'm going to want to take these objects and join them together. Then we can edit them all at once and start doing shit like this. Oh, that's not a four-sided object. Like this and this connect easily. So can this and this and this. Can easily join those, but gotta make a connection so that this is a quad and not a tri. Otherwise, things will get fucky. Yeah, now the fun part is just connecting this all together in a way that makes sense. That's fun part in quotations. Thank you. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to have to take these parts and just extrude them up and scale them out a bit till they're about even with this. Grab this vert and just line it up with this again. This one, stretch it forward a bit more. Drag this down a bit. There we go. Grab this and drag it down a little bit. And probably just this one goes down. I think I'm anatomying right. I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor or anything. Yeah, it is. That's why Asian parents want all their kids to grow up to be one. Then they can boast to all the other Asian moms. Feel like now I'm gonna have to do some manual editing here to make these bits line up. Gonna want this whole thing here to pinch in. Oh, never mind. It all just kind of worked itself out. And we can start pulling some of these in to make. Okay, there we go. There. And merge by distance. What this does is it gets rid of any of those stray verts and joins them together into proper meshes so that we can do shit like this. Just cover it up. I'm sure there's some expert blender way to do this all at once, but I'm just going to fill them in manually. See how that looks. Probably looks like ass, but I think that's the point here. And yeah, if it was me, and it is, go into edit mode and grab this whole side here. Vert select, please. Clipping. Bring it in a little. Get up in with that one. But now we can turn the thigh back on. And yeah, The legs just need to be moved closer together. My only fear is that the feet will start clipping, but I don't see how that's my problem right now. What the? That? There we go. Go ahead and sink this in a little bit more so that it's not sitting on top of the thighs. There we go. We've already been at this for an hour and a half, and we only have half a hexie? Wild. At any rate, I think the next thing I'll add is the tail and the coattails, because they're pretty important. First things first, I'm going to want a hexagon. Drag that up. My knife back. Scale it way down. Go ahead and just extrude that out. Do it again. Scale it down for the plug. Then we're going to need the cord. Out. And we're going to that rotate along element thing again. Oh, wait, first we should extrude it again. Then we can rotate it along the active element. Make a bend. The normals. Things are getting a little tricky here. Oh, I was just gonna add a bend in it, but getting a little bit too tricky. We'll have to rig one up later. Just gonna grab this, drag it out, and make the other end of the tail, which is just the same thing but reversed. Now, go ahead and scale it back up. Bring the meat. Root out one more time. End of our plug. I'll texture on the tails later. And later on, we'll section this up, add a bone in there, and let physics take over. For the next, I'm gonna need a plane that goes over these sort of this type of dimension. Words are complicated, you know? The tail lined up properly. Middle, the other side. Thankfully, the coattails are pretty simple to do. Just a matter of taking a plane and shaping it around the butt the correct way. Probably should have rigged up some music for this stream to make things more interesting. Wouldn't know what to pick though for this sort of thing. Should I get some lo-fi beats? Next time I do one of these, we'll definitely need to get mute. Let's put a mirror on this so it goes to the other side as well. And there, we just need to texture those now. They might be a bit short. I might need to make those longer. Just kinda gotta keep the shape flowing. Don't have it all going in sort of the same direction. The topology will look weird. But yeah, if I think that if we put like a bone for each of these sections, that'll probably look like an old PlayStation game style rigging. By which I mean to say it'll stretch a lot. Now, none of this is final or anything. And in fact, I'm just kind of roughing this out for someone else to try and do better later. But, I think we're off to a good start. Next bit, though, going to be a little bit more complicated. Gotta get the cut just right. But I maybe do another hexagon for the gun, or a octagon. It looks alright. Not perfect by any means. The new shape? It's for the gut. The tummy, the belly. Should we start with an octagon? I'm feeling like octagon's probably the way to go. Then I need to figure out how to make the back. But yeah, I figure this gives you a better understanding of how the hexy legs work and the wheels and everything. I want to get up to the arms at some point. We gotta keep going up. Okay then. Let's get another octagon in here. Wider. Stick down in it for more. Again. Oh, right, we gotta make it filled. Can extrude. Down. Shift it down to give it a little bit more weight. Down. Gonna make one more small one. Drag it back into the body a little. Drag it down a little bit more. Yeah, my belly's a little big. It's not a big deal. It's hard to burn calories whenever you have robotic limbs. Now go steal me some more chocolate. Get rid of the back of that a little. Gonna have to figure out how to work our way up to the top. This match the rest of the clothing. This bit's a little bit complex because a lot of it's gonna be purple. But then, like, entire side of here's going black. And back. I may as well complete the loop. Of course, it's got to spread out all the way over here. And I suppose for the sake of demonstration, I can do one more thing here. Hide that belly real quick. This and we can hit J to join. That'll create a little geometry right here. Black tip to work. It's not perfect by any means. In fact, I take it back. Let's just get rid of that one. There we go. Of course, the front bit here is supposed to be white. Heyo, Kuga. I'm just currently working on making a mock-up of what I think a N64 style Hexi should look like. It's a little bit perplexing, to say the least. Now this here should still be octagon shaped, I would think. So maybe we can use an octagon for the body to like go up the middle. 5, 6. -12-sided minus 10-sided. Complicated. Yeah, you would need on the side, so it would have a circle. Fill it along the wall. Get it sort of approximately there. Ah, shoot, I'm still in object mode. Gotta take all that back. Because we don't want the origin point shifting, just in case we need to mirror something. I bring this in out. Does the spine need to dip in? You know, the hardest part for me to conceptualize is stuff like spine and organ. That's why I'm a cyborg, though, so I don't have to worry about this shit. Ah, pathetic human organs. Then I dip in a bit for the waist. Then we need to start going up into the chest. But you know, shit's complicated. All right. But there, I'll add black material for now. And this will sit here as a placeholder. Go ahead and save. We'll mark some of this stuff out. Selection of the body. Grab that, chuck it in. Selection for the hip. Chuck that stuff in. Okay, next thing's going to be the jacket. We're really making progress now. We're getting up to the shoulder part. Well, I guess since the body's 10-sided, the jacket has to be as well. This I would squish it a little, but nah. We don't need this front one. That edge. hopefully, yep, it still lets me extrude. Good. Take the bottom row and flare it out a little. This and her across the X just so that it all moves thinly. This back to give it that open jacket feel. Because Hexi's jacket hangs open. We're not hiding nothing here. Get rid of that face. We don't need it. Drag out this bottom skirt. There we go. To build up the body a little bit more to meet that. Up a little. I think that's the way it goes. I could be completely wrong here about how anatomy. Never know. I mean, have you? I'm not exactly the most anatomically correct character, but that's okay. Not everything has the time. Sometimes you just want to cut loose and be silly. On here for the collar, and I'm somehow going to join the coat up to it. Rotate 22.5 degrees. Face. The face. Get rid of this front one. Middle one. Oh, that is a perfect collar, believe it or not. That's going to be up a little bit further still. Got to make room for the arms and the back of the jacket. But these are going to come up to here and connect. Going to connect there, there. In fact, I think we could join these up right now. And then all I have to do is add in a loop cut around the center here. Oh, never mind, it won't let me. I guess the shape is too asymmetrical. Something went wrong there. That's why. Find out what's going on here. Somehow, things did not get connected right. But now it looks like it's fine. That. And we can just puff this out. Just a little. Gonna round out the back a little bit more. I don't know what all's gonna go in there, but surely something will. And we're gonna need some shoulders. Now, I could go with an icosphere, but I feel like I wouldn't get a very good result with that. Get something like that because it's made of triangles. The other option is a, but I'm not a big fan of those either. They have way too much geometry. I cut the segments down to like 6, 6 by 6. Looks a little too perfect. Gotta be a way to make like a hexagonal prism. Like a soccer ball or something. Well, what do you think? UV sphere or icosphere? Which one looks more Nintendo-y? The rounder sphere? This one? Okay. Take it into edit mode then. We'll drag it up, over. I think it might actually be a little too big at this size. My shoulders are puffy, but they're not that puffy. Right about there. And if we're going to be building the arms out to the side, we should probably rotate it along the y-axis by 90 degrees. Then I'll just take off bottom faces and make the cut. That and make the whole thing a little bit bigger to scale it out. With the back end. Was it that you do that? The V button? Yep. That up a little bit. Down a little bit. Grab both of them. It back a little bit. Full edge again. Including that. Scoot down some more. Scale it in. It's pinch in. Talking for a little. They're not that folded. Here we go. Push it in. Grab the scale down to 0. Come on to that one. Here we go. Nice little symmetrical cup. This back bit might be a little off, but whatever. Only way to fix it would be to rip that with the V thing, then try and put it to where it should be. That ain't gonna work. We'll fix it later. Just edge, fill it in. Color to it for the sake of marking out where things go. Ugh. I didn't realize it was breaking its geometry like that. Hold on. Here we go. Now it's fixed. You guys, I've almost got this 3D modeling thing figured out. There are just some trouble areas that I'm having problems with. I wish that there was someone who could tell me what I'm supposed to do to make them work right. But unfortunately, life's not that simple. But anyways, now we're up to the arms, and this is the fun bit because we get to play with cubes and tubes. There are tutorials on how to model characters, but a lot of them are just like, oh, use your art knowledge about anatomy. Just use your artistic talent. I don't have artistic talent. So, it's not exactly the most sound advice. Yeah, the inner lining on Hexi's jacket is white. The outside's black. Didn't know if you knew that, so I figured I'd clear that up with this stream. Part of why I wanted to do this whole thing was to clear up some perceptions about how this low poly model should go. And now we get into the arms. Gonna start out with a cube. Why is it there? Why is the cursor moved? Cursor to cursor to world origin. There we go. Now we can go into edit mode. Up, over. Gonna make this tinier. This sucker going to be center of our arm. Scale this out along the get a little thinner along the wall. This is just basically a support structure for the hydraulics, which are going to do a lot of clipping, but that's okay. We don't mind clipping here. Now we're going to want our hexagons galore. Whoops, I added the hexagon in edit mode, which means that's added to the same mesh as the cube. One of these days I'll learn the hotkey for switching between object and edit mode. One of the things they tell you in the tutorials is learn this hotkey as soon as possible. Which, yes, is sound advice. However, they fail to realize that I am really bad at remembering. Scale it down a little bit more. Yeah, I would certainly hope so. Any help would be appreciated. But here, let me extrude this out. Oh, it wants me to fill first. Fill, extrude. Gonna go about halfway down. Then what's inset the face. Extrude down one more time. Boom. We've got piston. Gonna take this. Just gonna scale the top and bottom along the Z so that they fit in with these a little bit better. Yeah, you'll get a lot worse if you don't do it. Right in between those. Got a nice joint for our arm. Gonna need something for the caution colors, which would normally be black and yellow, but I'm just gonna settle for yellow. This one, well, I mean, bottom face. There we go. This thing could stand to be a little skinnier, but only a little. Because it does have to separate the two pistons on either side. Now it's time to make the elbow joint, which is just like the knee joint, but sideways. Add in another hexagon. That up it collides with those. Root it up. Nice and gonna want to bevel those edges. Just like with the legs. Gonna want to make the angle on these a little bit harsher. Those circles and shove them into an upper arm category. So, what do you think of my robo biceps? Gonna have to texture all this eventually, but I only just learned how to do very basic, like Blender drawing bullshit. So, it's still got a ways to go. But yeah, that's how the arms work. Hydraulic on the front, hydraulic on the back. Metal support through the middle. Gives it lots of torque for the arms. I don't know if the elbows are bent the right way or not for this sort of thing. Are you supposed to model the arms up or down or forward? Which ways are the elbows supposed to go? I'm modeling them pointing towards the camera. So the next thing to do then would be to make the lower arm. But first, I'm gonna take a little bathroom break. Take 5, everyone, then I'll be back. I'll make the arms, maybe make the fingers, and then we'll call it a stream. I'll do the head next time. Need some break music. Gee. Well, guys, I guess I'll have to put up a thing on Patreon or something asking you what sort of music I should have on my streams. In 5. Okay, and I'm back. Let's go right back to it. They're cute. Thank you very much. Good to be back. Edit mode over. Gonna need thinner. Scale it front part. Drag it out. Big old boxy arm. A bit closer. It should be relatively square. Not exact, but close. And we're going to need sort of cuff over the ends. Whole object here and duplicate towards the end. The sides subdivided. A bit. Violet. Little bit of shape for the shape that it's in. Next up, we need to add a hole to it that the piston for the arm are going to fit into. Once again, duplicate this. Fill that Y. Oh no, never mind. Grab this bit, move it along the Y, right about here, where we have our little angle in the cup. And we can do this and we can extend the rest of the way out. Back, down the, and then I'm going to top edge and drag it back a little so that it has an angle to it to match the other one. Now that all of that's been angled and everything, stretch Check this one. Fire. Back to this other one. Something didn't go quite right there. It's on an angle. Try snapping this even again. Cube 4. There we go. That's more like what I was looking for. Go ahead and 4. Cube 2 and cube 3 can join. Cube 2, Boolean union. The other cube y. Then we can 3. There we go. Job's a good one. Where's our upper arm? Oh, is it creating the lower arm in the upper arm? We are kind of going to need part of this anyways, but still, that doesn't mean that I necessarily want to have it in the same section. This can come out. This one go. Get brought down here. And it's going to need to get scaled down. Oh, and I'm working in object mode again. You know it. Hola! Nice to see you. Fill it down. That piston good. We can make a second one. Hopefully it's the right size. Otherwise, I'm going to have to redo it. Nope, not the right size. Let it move down a little. Scale it down a bit. that out a little bit more. Okay, now they'll both fit. Double it. Go to Object, Edit Mode, it up. There we go. Now we've got wrist piston. Wriston. Come forward a bit. There we go. Parts of the lower arms are supposed to be white, but we should go white instead of the default material. All of these, they actually need to go back just a little bit. Because now I'm going to add the back of the arms, and those go out a little bit further. Go with cube, even though technically it's going to be more of like a weird hexagonal prism. But we'll figure that out in a minute. Go ahead and this go about here. Ever so slightly wider than the bottom. Bit fatter. Get out. Gee, those nice sloped angles. Now on the back of this surface, there's a speaker booster for shooting. On this side, there's one for flying the arms. Oh, I'm getting quiet? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Oh, that's not good. And then there's supposed to be one more angle here in the middle. Yeah, I know. The computer's acting weird. It always does. I've tried my best to fix everything, and I'll take it to Micro Center soon, I promise. There we go. We've got the angular back of the arm armor. I always try and make it as pointy as possible, but it sort of winds up looking a bit rounded. I mean, I suppose I could merge these two edges here, then it would look sharper. Well, let's add another cube for the hand. Tuck in upper arm. Let me make a selection for lower arm. Gonna be the back part of the hand. Gotta make it fit within the bounds of the arm there. Divide here to add a little line. And I want to be able to drag that So we're going to need another line. Base here. I'm surprised that worked out as perfectly as it did. Go ahead and go into object mode. Duplicate this for no particular reason. Take the whole thing forward a bit. Get rid of this lump at the end. Back along the Y till it's lined up correctly. Get rid of our extra edges. Gonna go ahead and bottom of this. Fill them along. This will act as the palm whenever it's done. Here so that it creates an effect. Go back a little. Going to take Q4 here. And we're going to do a Boolean subtract to get cube 5 out of it. And apply that. Now it has a nice hollow shape to it. That's how Gundam armor be. So, gonna want it like this. Gonna want it 4 again. This time do a U with this. Apply. Delete. There we go. Go into edit mode. You can see that it still has shapes preserved. And that's important where we go to add our materials. Want to add white to the overall product. Want to add silver for the hand. Select the whole white. This. Want to make silver. And I suppose whatever's behind that as well. There we go. And of course, there's got to be a palm blaster as well. A little RGB speaker in the palm. Next up would be the finger. You lost HP. Someone must have donated to attack you or subscribed or something. By the way, Let me Streamlab game. If that works yet. Nope. I think I need a chatbot in order to get tic-tac-toe working. Anyways, the fingers are gonna be really fiddly. And I think that we can save that for next stream, where I'll work on the head and the fingers and the chest. And then with those ideas all blocked out in stream, maybe we can actually get someone to make a proper 3D Hexi avatar. Oh gee. Yeah, I think that I might have been streaming for too long then. So, at any rate, next time we'll do the fingers and the head, the hair and the chest. And then hopefully we can get this thing workshopped somehow. Then we'll finally have low poly 3D Hexi. Thanks for watching and thanks for all the advice, guys. I really appreciate it. Yes, a real set of Honganaga hoogs. Analanga no Gangas. Anyways, thanks to my patrons, Nerdy Neko Kit and Codarian. Ciao for now, and Hexi out.